Nations like Venezuela and Cuba have demonstrated support for Burkina Faso, echoing the stance of Iran and Russia in viewing Burkina Faso's detachment from Western influences as beneficial. This move has not been well received by Western countries. There is dissatisfaction with President Traore, who is driving these significant changes. Historically, the response from Western powers towards leaders who deviate from their preferences is well known. The looming question is whether history will repeat itself. Consider a country in Central Africa challenging global powers, forming new partnerships, and reshaping its future. Burkina Faso, led by Ibrahim Traore, is charting a novel geopolitical course by aligning with South American and Russian allies. What has prompted this recent shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy? This landlocked West African nation has been historically influenced by its former colonial powers. Under President Ibrahim Traore, who assumed office in September 2022, Burkina Faso has started to reevaluate these historical connections. Traore made a pivotal move on February 8, 2024, by expelling French military forces from the country, signaling a major shift in its geopolitical stance. This action was a deliberate stand against neocolonialism and aimed at achieving greater sovereignty, paving the way for new alliances, including with South American nations like Venezuela. The historical connection between Burkina Faso and France was established during the colonial era, with France maintaining considerable influence over the former colony. However, Traore's administration aimed to sever these ties. The removal of French troops was not merely symbolic, but a calculated move to assert sovereignty and minimize external control. This decision struck a chord with other African nations grappling with similar post-colonial issues, positioning Traore as a key advocate for genuine independence. Burkina Faso announced its intention to terminate a military agreement that permitted French forces to combat militants within its borders. This decision comes amid an insurgency by groups affiliated with Al-Qaeda and ISIS. The government reported that it had suspended a 2018 military accord with France on January 18th, providing a one-month notice for the withdrawal of French troops. The following day, French President Emmanuel Macron requested further clarification from transitional President Ibrahim Traore. However, on Monday, Burkina Faso's government spokesperson, Rim Taubergen Emmanuelu Adriogo, stated that their position was already clear. The expulsion of French forces by Burkina Faso reverberated internationally, marking a significant step towards decolonization and self-determination that is increasingly gaining traction across Africa. Traore's decision sparked a range of responses. Some applauded his courage, while others cautioned about the potential risks. This crucial moment set the stage for a new direction in Burkina Faso's foreign policy, aimed at forging partnerships with countries that align with its goals of sovereignty and economic self-reliance. In recent times, many African nations have struggled with the challenge of navigating relationships with former colonial powers while pursuing true independence. Traore's action to remove French troops is part of a broader trend where African leaders are increasingly challenging neo-colonial influence in favor of fairer collaborations. This transition is viewed as a vital step towards long-term stability and growth. By distancing itself from France, Burkina Faso is asserting its autonomy and signaling to other African countries that reliance on former colonial powers is not the sole path to development. Traore's administration is focused on building alliances based on mutual respect and shared goals, rather than maintaining ties rooted in past exploitation. As we delve further, we will examine the crucial alliances Burkina Faso is forming and their potential impacts. Let's start by discussing its relationship with Venezuela. How did this partnership come about? And what are the key elements of their alliance? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content on culture, history, and identity. Now, back to the topic. The connection between Burkina Faso and Venezuela began to develop right after Traore's decisive action to remove French troops. On February 8, 2024, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro reached out to Traore, marking the beginning of a new phase in their relations. This outreach led to a significant meeting, where Burkina Faso's Foreign Minister Jean-Marie Traore and Venezuela's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Yvonne Gill, signed 20 agreements covering a wide range of sectors, including aeronautics, agriculture, civil protection, culture, sports, oil, education, and science and technology. These extensive agreements reflect a strong commitment to mutual growth and the strengthening of their partnership. Venezuela's support goes beyond economic cooperation, also including military assistance, underscoring a shared stance against imperialism. Minister Gill highlighted Venezuela's commitment to furthering its friendship with Burkina Faso and other African nations through South-South cooperation. Among the agreements, there are plans for a delegation of oil specialists and technicians from Burkina Faso to visit Venezuela, emphasizing the strategic value of their energy collaboration. This partnership enables Burkina Faso to leverage Venezuela's expertise in the oil industry, potentially enhancing its economic prospects. The agreements span a variety of sectors critical to the advancement of both countries. In aeronautics, there are initiatives for joint projects that could lead to technological improvements and better infrastructure. In agriculture, the focus is on exchanging knowledge to boost food security and local production. Cultural exchanges are designed to promote mutual understanding and strengthen the social bond between the two nations. Sports and education also feature prominently, aiming to foster strong, educated, and healthy communities. These areas are vital for sustainable national development and laying a solid foundation for future generations. Additionally, military cooperation is a key part of the partnership, with Venezuela offering military support to help Burkina Faso enhance its defense capabilities and maintain stability. This support forms part of a larger strategy to counter external influences and uphold national sovereignty. The importance of these agreements goes beyond immediate gains. They represent a commitment to a development vision that emphasizes sovereignty and self-reliance over dependence on traditional Western aid and investment. This partnership is indicative of a growing trend in South-South cooperation, where developing nations work together to achieve mutual growth and independence. With these alliances established, it's worth considering the broader international ramifications for Burkina Faso. The alliance with Venezuela is part of a broader network that includes South American countries and Russia. Historically, nations such as Cuba, Venezuela, and Argentina have aligned with Russia, particularly during the Cold War era. Prominent figures like Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez, and Che Guevara were influential in advocating anti-imperialist movements, and their impact still resonates in modern politics. Venezuela's support for Burkina Faso continues this tradition. Aligning with anti-imperialist forces marks Burkina Faso's shift from traditional Western partnerships. Economically, these new alliances open up opportunities for growth in sectors such as energy, agriculture, and education. Support from nations like Venezuela and Cuba, which have strong connections with Russia, could significantly bolster Burkina Faso's military capabilities. This alliance might also influence regional dynamics in West Africa. Burkina Faso's shift away from Western powers towards alliances with South America and Russia could encourage other African countries to reassess their foreign policies. This might lead to a broader regional realignment, challenging the dominance of former colonial powers and their allies. Additionally, the strengthening relationship between Burkina Faso and Venezuela could serve as a model for other African nations to seek similar partnerships. This trend might contribute to a more multipolar world, where power is more evenly distributed across various regions, diminishing the influence of Western countries. Increased collaboration among countries in the global South could give rise to new economic and political blocs that challenge existing power structures and foster a more balanced global order. Burkina Faso's shifting foreign policy might also affect international organizations like the United Nations and the African Union, which may need to adjust to the evolving dynamics and address the needs and priorities of nations pursuing greater autonomy and resisting traditional power frameworks. The partnership with Venezuela and other South American nations underscores the significance of South-South cooperation. This approach prioritizes mutual support and shared benefits among developing countries, contrasting with the often hierarchical relationships seen with Western powers. South-South cooperation offers a platform for exchanging knowledge, resources, and development strategies, promoting more sustainable and inclusive growth. Additionally, Burkina Faso's geopolitical shift might impact global energy markets. By strengthening its relationship with Venezuela, a key oil producer, Burkina Faso could access valuable energy resources and expertise, enhancing its energy security and decreasing reliance on Western energy supplies. This development might influence global energy trends, encouraging other nations to diversify their energy sources and build more resilient energy systems. The international community and regional organizations have been attentive to Burkina Faso's new alliances. In particular, Western nations have responded by imposing sanctions on Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, reflecting their concern over these new partnerships. These sanctions are intended to pressure these countries into reconsidering their alliances and returning to traditional Western partnerships. Recently, the military governments in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger announced their immediate exit from the regional economic community. The juntas criticized the bloc for imposing what they termed as harsh sanctions, designed to reverse recent progress in their countries. A joint statement, aired on state television in all three nations, claimed that the bloc had strayed from its founding principles and Pan-African ideals after nearly 50 years. The juntas argued that the bloc, influenced by external powers, had become a threat to its member states and their populations. This move comes amid escalating political tensions in West Africa, including a recent coup in Niger. The three nations have recently established a security alliance and cut military ties with France and other European countries, seeking support from Russia instead. Despite the sanctions, Burkina Faso has received significant backing from its new allies. On July 2, 2024, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro sent a delegation to Burkina Faso to reaffirm support from South America. This visit emphasized the strengthening relationship between the regions and their shared commitment to mutual development. The delegation met with Ibrahim Traore, conveying military and diplomatic support for Burkina Faso. This marks a significant shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy, moving from reliance on Western nations to a more diversified and self-reliant approach. This shift has sparked discussions both within Burkina Faso and among its allies regarding the best path forward. Some advocate for aligning with anti-imperialist forces as a strategic move, while others argue that maintaining Western ties is essential for economic stability. The Western-imposed sanctions have not swayed Burkina Faso from its new direction. On the contrary, they have reinforced Traore's administration's determination to seek alternative forms of support and collaboration. Support from Venezuela and other South American nations has given Burkina Faso the resources and confidence to resist Western pressure. Regional organizations like the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, have also responded to Burkina Faso's realignment. ECOWAS, which has traditionally been aligned with Western interests, has voiced concerns over Burkina Faso's shift. The organization has called for dialogue and reconciliation, stressing the need for regional unity and cooperation. The response from ECOWAS underscores the challenge of balancing regional stability with the respect for the sovereignty of individual member states. Burkina Faso's alignment with anti-imperialist forces disrupts the current power dynamics in the region and raises questions about the future of regional cooperation. ECOWAS faces the task of managing these complexities to prevent further destabilization while supporting its members' aspirations. The international community, including organizations like the United Nations, is also closely observing the situation in Burkina Faso. The UN has highlighted the need for peaceful conflict resolution and adherence to international norms and agreements. As Burkina Faso forges new alliances, the international community will be vigilant to ensure the nation remains committed to these principles. The reactions from various international and regional entities reflect the broader implications of Burkina Faso's geopolitical shift. While the country seeks to assert its sovereignty and establish new partnerships, it must also navigate the intricate landscape of international relations and ensure internal stability. The support from Venezuela and other allies offers a buffer against external pressures, but moving forward will require careful diplomacy and strategic planning. Given these developments, what are the potential future scenarios for Burkina Faso? The future of Burkina Faso's international relations depends on several crucial factors. President Ibrahim Traore faces a significant choice: whether to maintain alliances with Venezuela, Cuba, and Russia, or reconsider and rejoin ECOWAS, which has closer ties with the US and France. The support from Venezuela and other South American countries opens up opportunities for Burkina Faso to gain new economic and military partnerships, potentially leading to increased investment in key sectors and enhancing the nation's development prospects. However, aligning with these anti-imperialist forces carries risks, including possible economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation from Western nations. On the other hand, re-engaging with ECOWAS and Western countries could offer more immediate economic stability and access to international aid. Yet this could also undermine Burkina Faso's goal of greater autonomy and resistance to neocolonial influences. Ultimately, President Traore must carefully evaluate the advantages and drawbacks of each option, balancing long-term strategic interests with short-term economic and political pressures. The outcome of this decision will influence Burkina Faso's future and its role in the global arena. Moreover, if Traore's approach succeeds, it could encourage other African nations to explore similar alliances and pursue more independent foreign policies. This shift could spark a wider movement toward decolonization and self-determination across the continent. Additionally, alliances with Venezuela and other South American nations might open up new economic opportunities. Collaborative projects in fields such as energy, agriculture, and technology could drive growth and job creation, advancing Burkina Faso's overall development. Sharing knowledge and expertise will be key to building a robust and self-reliant economy. However, the potential risks associated with these alliances should not be overlooked. Western-imposed economic sanctions could affect trade, investment, and access to international markets. Diplomatic isolation might also limit Burkina Faso's participation in global forums and its ability to influence international policies. Navigating these challenges will require careful planning and adept diplomacy. As Burkina Faso moves forward, it must also weigh the domestic impact of its foreign policy choices. Public opinion and support will play a crucial role in determining the success of its chosen direction. Engaging with civil society, building consensus, and ensuring transparency will be crucial for fostering national unity and resilience. Burkina Faso is at a pivotal moment with its future direction uncertain. Under Ibrahim Traore's leadership, the nation has embarked on a significant journey towards asserting its sovereignty and forming new alliances. The removal of French troops and the subsequent partnerships with Venezuela and other South American countries represent a major shift in Burkina Faso's geopolitical approach. These new alliances open up possibilities for enhanced economic and military cooperation, but they also bring potential risks and challenges. The international community's response, including sanctions from Western nations, highlights the complexities and high stakes of this strategic shift. As Burkina Faso navigates this intricate situation, the choices made by President Traore and his administration will define the country's path forward. Whether Burkina Faso continues to strengthen its ties with anti-imperialist allies or reverts to traditional Western partnerships, it is clear that the nation is on the verge of significant transformation. The future of Burkina Faso will depend on its ability to balance autonomy, development, and international relations in an evolving global landscape. Do you think Burkina Faso, or any African nation, truly needs Western involvement? Are these Western entities more like friends or exploiters in disguise? What might the impact be if these Western nations were no longer involved? Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think Burkina Faso should do? If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. We focus on topics that aren't widely discussed, including Black culture, history, and the significant achievements of Black civilizations. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.